Welcome to the Adhocracy Show, the show for people who know how to get your consumers to do your work for you.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm JD Melville.
And I'm David Landeen. Today, before we get started on the main topic, we want to tell you about a really cool Instagrammer that we found.
Yes.
That we'd like you to go and check out.
This is an Instagrammer you should be following. And basically, it's Steven over at Quello Creative. As I was kind of scrolling through Instagram, looking at a bunch of the different people that we're connected to and working with, I kind of came across one or two of the logos, kind of shared from different areas and stuff like that, and went in and looked, and I absolutely love some of these logos that he has done.
Yeah, we recently did an episode about simple design. I think this guy does it perfectly.
Well, and that's the thing is simple logos are a lot harder than they seem, and in a lot of I'm in a lot of different LinkedIn groups and things like that people will share their logos, and when they put up their logo, there's something about it that it doesn't feel quite rounded, quite done, and this guy, he's done one every day, and each one of these logos is just beautifully done. It's simple, it's clean, it gets across a really wonderful little message. And one of the cool things, and this is why you should follow him, not only does he put a logo up a day, but he starts kind of feeding into some of the different stuff that
Kind of goes through his process and talks you through what he was thinking and why he did certain things.
Which is, it's always interesting, and I think it really it shows how much he puts into it. Yeah. And had a quick conversation with him. It sounds like he's been doing it for 3 years, so he's very, very skilled at what he does.
Lots of logos if you need inspiration. That's Quello Creative, and we'll put a link down below.
Yeah, make sure you go and follow him.
All right, let's get on to today's topic, consumer-generated marketing. Even if you don't know what that is, I guarantee you've seen it or possibly participated in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and some of the best ones that are out there, you may have seen, like the Doritos Crash the Super Bowl. That's where they have asked a bunch of people to make a commercial. They basically kind of take all of those, scoop the cream off the top from the votes, and put out the best ones. Disney just recently did one. We covered that in our Disney video. The Share Your Ears. That's another consumer-generated marketing campaign.
Basically, it's getting consumers to do your marketing for you, maybe with a hashtag, maybe with a video, maybe with Instagram. We're going to go over some today that worked really well and some that didn't.
That were just really rough. The first one on the good side was Starbucks. They had the white cup contest. Basically, they invited people to kind of doodle on their iconic white cup, and basically are going to basically take a picture of it, hashtag it on Twitter, and the winner would basically become kind of a limited time cup. There were about 4,000. Was it 4,000? Yeah, 4,000 submissions in 3 weeks that the contest ran. Incredible. This is the cup right here. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, very intricate design, really good. And all those people who submitted had to go get a cup.
Yeah, so you have the people who are buying, and then the people that are making it are asking their friends to share it, and so that they win. That's incredible how that all worked out.
It worked really well for them. It was a great campaign.
Yeah.
Number 2. Moen Reflex. This is a faucet that had a pull-out head that you could use as a sprayer, and then as soon as you let go, it would go back in. So they made some commercials, and their tagline was, "Wouldn't it be nice if everything put itself away?"
Yes.
And yes, it would. And so they then reached out to some tinkerers and inventors and had them invent things that put themselves away. And one that I really liked was the sippy cup. They had the child who would always throw the sippy cup, and so he created a device that would then immediately put itself back on, and it was so amazing, nice. And I want one. And it's a really and then they made videos about all these different things that put themselves away, and everything went back to the Reflex, and those videos got some traction, and people saw those, and I ran across it, so and this is a while afterwards, and I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
And again, it was the consumer making the marketing for the company, which seems a little backwards, but it worked so well.
And it can work really well. Another example, our third example, is Lululemon. Lululemon, we did have to look that up. I always thought it was Lululemon because I was making it fancier than it needed to be. It's not. I apologize. Basically, they did a campaign where they asked their consumers to take a picture of themselves doing yoga. You would hashtag the sweat life, which is really gross, but it worked. I mean, you do sweat. If you've ever done yoga, if you haven't done yoga, like you are standing there for some reason and you are dripping. And especially if you're doing the Bikram yoga. I've never done it. Anyway, too much information. So you could actually use this hashtag. You'd actually hashtag the different products that you're wearing. The thing that's incredible about this is sometimes these are hard to track. Like you can say, okay, yeah, we had 4,000 submissions, like the Starbucks one. But you can't really say, okay, it reached these many people, it increased this much sales. I mean, you can kind of sort of generalize some of those statistics. But this one, you could actually say, okay, these products were mentioned, there was a rise in these products. This specific one was hashtagged, it had a growth this year.
So not only did they have them make the marketing for them, but they also were able to track it and get the analytics on that. And again, just a really great campaign.
It was in 2013, the brand received more than 7,000 photos and over 40,000 unique visitors since the launch of that campaign. Very effective.
Yeah. So those are the good ones.
Yeah.
And you might think, oh, I'm going to go out and do one of these. They seem so easy. It's getting great. I just make these and everybody participates and then everything works out perfect.
Be careful.
Yes.
Please.
Because they don't always work.
The internet is a fickle place.
The internet is a weird, crazy place.
And you need to, I mean...
Look at the comment section of anything, really.
Yes.
And
I mean, you really need to be careful. You need to know your consumers. You need to be aware of timing. There's a lot of things to it, so you have to be very careful. And some of these really bad ones are great examples why.
Number one, here's a good one, or a bad one. Chevy, 2007, they decided, let's let other people make commercials for us. So they released a whole bunch of stock footage and of cars driving, and all you had to do was go to their website and you could put in the words, but they used the SUV, and this was during a time when gas prices were really high and when people were really conscious about the environment because gas prices were really high and it was an SUV, and so everybody made commercials about how terrible SUVs are for the environment.
I can see where this is going.
The car driving through the desert and saying, thank you Chevy for turning all of our forests into deserts. And then those were all shared, and it didn't go well.
Rough.
Not a good ROI on that one. But it was just kind of a bad timing, and they didn't foresee that coming. And that kind of seems to be a common thread throughout all these bad examples.
But they did stick to their guns. I mean, they did continue with it. It wasn't just like, oh crap,
didn't pull it all back and get rid of all the commercials. No, they did, and I respect them for that. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, sticking to your guns is, especially in this kind of age, is good. Our second example is McDonald's with the McDStories. You may have remembered this one, maybe not. They basically put out the hashtag McDStories. What they were hoping for, this was in 2012, they were hoping that on Twitter people would, share heartwarming stories. They would talk about how
me and my granny went and we bought an Egg McMuffin and we shared a morning with talking about all our hopes and dreams, and then she gave me a scarf.
140 characters, please.
That's true.
But the thing is it didn't go that well. It went really rough. There weren't really stories. I mean, I'm sure there were some stories.
Granny didn't like the McMuffin. That's what it comes down to. All right.
Granny didn't like
the McMuffin.
That needs to be a T-shirt somewhere for grandmas. Granny didn't like the McMuffin. Basically, people went to Twitter and started commenting about, how the food is not that great, or, that they have really bad experiences, or, I mean, it's a hard thing to really go for. So they had just an outpouring of
complaints.
The hashtag took off.
Yeah, it did.
But just not in the way they had hoped.
Similar to that, another hashtag was hashtag MyNYPD. This was a campaign by the NYPD to try and build some trust in the community. And so they said, hey, take pictures of us and hashtag it MyNYPD, showing the nice things that we do so people could stop and take pictures with police officers. Or they could show their friends getting arrested. They could show the Occupy Wall Street. They could show the police brutality. And
it was about that same time as Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah, so the guy with his head plastered to the car, getting arrested. Hashtag MyNYPD. It didn't necessarily build too much trust in the community, but it took off. So I guess maybe it worked.
They sort of pointed to this in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They did a campaign where, the people were, they're like saying, hey, this is not a great idea, but they went for it. Someone was trying to sink someone and they went forward with it anyway, and it turned out bad. Those are just a few of the examples of consumer generated marketing. There's tons more. Let us know below if there's one that you know of that worked really well, or one that you're kind of laughing about.
Yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.
Absolutely, and go on over to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are working with people there. We're talking to people. That's where we find some people to show on our share on our show.
Share on our show. Show on our share.
Show on our share.
Share on our show. All right, so the Made It Fact of the Day. You may not know this because I may have made it up. But the very first hashtag ever used was found on the wall of ancient wall that cavemen. It was hashtag oh.
Like the Cave of Lascaux?
Maybe. Is that?
I don't think that they had an alphabet back then.
No, they did. It may have been a handprint, but the hashtag was definitely there. And then they would have birds learn it and then share it, and that's the intro of Twitter. Free every week.
But you can watch these in succession, and then after we have answered these over the couple of episodes, you can stare into our eyes and see if you fall in love with us.